today. Let's talk about PayPal, because PayPal earnings came out late last week. And it was a fairly muted reaction from the market. Stock was down a little bit. I mean, the stock has obviously done tremendously here over the past several years. So, I mean, it seemed all in all like it was a strong quarter. I mean, shocker, right? It seems every quarter they just continue to announce these just tremendous numbers, and this gross payment volume that is now on a run rate of well over $1 trillion. Matt, looking through this PayPal release, what stood out to you in the quarter?
Well, I mean, nothing, and I guess that's kind of what really you were pointing to there. Nothing was really that surprising. They reached the key milestone where they have over 400 million active users, which is a crazy accomplishment. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think Square just announced Cash App has 40 million, and that's a big deal.
Wow.
So PayPal has 10 times the amount Square does.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was definitely a big deal. They raised their guidance slightly for payment volume throughout the year. I think a lot of that has to do with consumer spending really coming back a lot quicker than people thought it would. But we already knew that. We've talked about that over the past few weeks. I remember Bank of America reported that consumer spending's up 22% year over year, something to that effect. And we're seeing that reflected in some of these payment processors. I gotta say, PayPal's like starting to get into like the category of Visa and MasterCard now with its size.
Well, I mean, it's better than $300 billion market cap now. So I mean, you're really not far off.
Right. It just the sheer size of the business and just the ecosystem they've built. I don't know if they've just set the barrier to entry so high. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to compete with PayPal really for any of the online payment processing business. Like you said, now they're over $1.2 trillion in annualized revenue, or have an annualized payment volume. That is.
Yeah.
That's a staggering number.
It is a lot. Now, I mean, to your point earlier, I mean, over 400 million active accounts now. And I mean, that obviously a massive, a massive goal, massive accomplishment there. And really those are 400 million. I mean, there are a lot of folks that are using this platform on a regular basis. And so they even raised guidance for the net new additions. They're calling for 52 to 55 additionals here in fiscal 2021. And obviously Venmo is a big part of this. I don't know if you were able to look at those Venmo numbers, but it was pretty impressive just to see with that one network alone pushing through $58 billion in total payment volume for the quarter, over 76 million active accounts now. And just to your point about Square, and it's not to take anything away from Square and Cash App, but the Venmo numbers, I think at least puts that into perspective. For all that Square has done so well, you look at really what PayPal has done, and it's really pretty amazing.
Well, I have to announce I finally joined Venmo during this quarter, so I was one of the new ads.
Did you have to get some money to one of your kids or something? I mean, why? What forced you? What forced your hand?
Well, no, remember we recently bought a vacation rental, so I got it so people could pay us when they stay there and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yep, good idea.
They processed, I think, $58 billion in payment volume during the quarter. That's more than Square did in the merchant side of its business. And that was 58% growth year over year.
Yeah.
Venmo is still growing very rapidly.
It is.
If you remember, that's the side of the business they haven't really figured out how to monetize great yet.
Yeah.
Most of their revenue still comes from PayPal, not Venmo.
Mm-hmm.
So as Venmo scales, the ability to monetize that's going to get greater and greater.
Yeah.
Or the importance of monetizing that's going to get greater and greater. So I that's what I'm going to be watching going forward is how well they're monetizing Venmo. So it's not just about building up the users. They could build it up to 1 billion users. If you can't monetize them, then I'm not that excited.